Welcome to the Mystery and History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one.
A prisoner chained and punished under the sun until fainting in 1932. The image shows a cruel punishment practice used in certain regimes. Electric chair, 1908. The introduction of this method in the United States was intended to be a more humane way of carrying out the imposed sentence. Children playing with stacks of money in Germany in 1922. The image reflects the period of hyperinflation when the value of the German currency collapsed and large amounts of money became practically worthless. Cars pile up at the north turn of Daytona during a 1959 race. The crash was one of the most dramatic in racing history, involving multiple vehicles and causing a massive collision. Herbert Cochran, a thief, was photographed while being held in a headlock for not cooperating in Omaha, Nebraska, in 1899. French soldiers with faces that were out of the ordinary. Many of these soldiers underwent surgeries and innovative treatments to try to recover from the damage of World War I. Anti-British propaganda in Japan, 1941. During World War II, Japan was in conflict with several Western powers, including the United Kingdom. A Red Cross nurse, recording the last words of a wounded soldier in 1917. The scene took place during World War I. A family during the Great Depression in the United States. The period, which began in 1929, was marked by mass unemployment, poverty, and severe hardships. Three boys fishing for coins during the New Depression in 1930. Skull of the Two-Headed Boy of Bengal, dated around 1787. The Vietnamese battalion commander, Captain Thach Nguyen, conducts a focused interrogation of a captured Viet Cong suspect. Soviet students preparing for exams at the park in the late 1960s. During the Vietnam War, one of the most dangerous jobs was that of the tunnel rats, soldiers tasked with entering underground tunnel complexes used by the enemy to hide troops and supplies faced traps and hardships in tight, dark spaces. Photograph from 1905 at the isolation hospital in Oslo, Norway. Women visit relatives in quarantine due to infectious diseases such as tuberculosis or smallpox. Cutaneous horn, a rare growth of keratin. This unusual formation appears on the skin, usually as a hardened protrusion, and is a rare condition that can occur in different parts of the body. A popular female model from the 1990s, Madhu. A family consisting of a mother and 9 children living in a camp near U.S. Highway 70, close to the Tennessee River, in March 1936. This period was during the Great Depression in the United States. The largest bass ever caught weighed 425 pounds. Edward Llewellyn reeled in the giant fish alone, setting an impressive fishing record. Nuns from the Order of St. Benedict enjoying themselves during their vacation in Greyland in 1960. One of several self-portraits made by Emperor Nicholas II during his life, away from the formality of the court. Excavation of the Sphinx statue in Giza, Egypt, in the 1850s. During this period, archaeologists began uncovering more about the history and mysteries of ancient Egyptian civilizations. Physical therapists place a patient in a thermal pool for exercises. The use of hot springs for rehabilitation is an ancient practice. Nikola Tesla, at 81 years old, the inventor and electrical engineer, known for his pioneering contributions to alternating current development, spent his final years in relative obscurity. John Bud Rogan, standing 8 feet 9 inches tall, is the second tallest man ever recorded. Mujahideen use air-inflated leather to cross a river in 1980. During the war in Afghanistan, these improvised tactics were common due to the lack of resources. A sword swallower in Weihai Wei, 1922. Paul Ramos, the circus strongman, lifts his son to feed a giraffe in the 1950s. Testing roller skates with a manual sail in Berlin in the 1920s. Historical photo taken on March 19, 1979, during an official ceremony in Brazil. It shows a young Brazilian woman, Ligia Maria Salgado Nóbrega, refusing to shake hands with then-military President João Figueiredo. May 1, 1916, France, during World War I. This is a hunting trophy of a dog. Roman surgical instruments found in Pompeii, similar to modern medical equipment. Pelé earned nearly $5.5 million after the 1974 fight. The famous boxer received this amount for his victory in the historic match against George Foreman. Future samurais in Nagasaki in 1870. The image shows young men preparing to follow Japan's warrior tradition. A grandmother mending her grandson's only pair of pants in 1907. Stephen Hawking with his fiancée Jane Wilde. They were experiencing an important time in the physicist's life before marrying in 1965. An outdoor hockey game in Sweden that had to be urgently stopped in 1959. A grandmother warms her grandson's ears as he takes an oath in Volgograd, 1994. This is a moment of affection and tradition during an important ceremony. Discovery of the statue of Ramses II in Karnak in 1930. Archaeologists found one of the largest and most impressive sculptures of the Egyptian pharaoh. Grand Central Terminal in New York City, 1929. Beams of natural light pass through the tall windows, illuminating the interior. This phenomenon no longer occurs because the terminal is now surrounded by skyscrapers that block sunlight. Genapil, the last queen of Mongolia, seated in traditional royal attire. She was the wife of Bogd Khan, the last spiritual and political ruler of the country. After the monarchy fell in 1924, Mongolia became a republic. Bill Clinton, as a young man standing next to John F. Kennedy. The moment highlights the connection between different eras of American politics. A 25,000-year-old stone carving of a woman found in France. Sainte-Foy Abbey in France, around 1050. Sculptures and details created at the time blend artistic expression with elements of humor. Sir Crichton Browne, from the West Riding Lunatic Asylum, ran the institution at the age of 26 and later became the Lord Chancellor's visitor for matters of insanity. After 25 days of intense bombing, United States Marines and Vietnamese troops recaptured the grounds of the Imperial Palace of Hue, marking the end of the occupation by the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese Army. The event took place during the Tet Offensive in 1968. The Priest Soccer Battle, Barcelona, 1960s. A unique event where clergymen competed in a soccer match. Acoustic detector in use during World War I in 1915. Used to locate enemy aircraft, this pioneering device helped identify engine sounds and was one of the earliest aerial surveillance technologies. On April 17, 1969, the FBI removed Robert Whittington Eaton, 25 years old, a draft resistor of the Vietnam War, from a residence in Philadelphia. He had chained himself to 13 people, resulting in at least 6 arrests during the confrontation with authorities. Restraint of a patient at the West Riding Lunatic Asylum in England during the 1870s. The scene reflects the treatment and control practices for people with mental disorders at the time. An American soldier constantly carries a photo of his girlfriend. During times of war, soldiers often kept photos of loved ones as a source of comfort and remembrance. A car escaping the eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines in 1991. The eruption was one of the most powerful of the 20th century. Launched in the 1980s, the Mizar was one of the first vehicles to combine car and aircraft technology. This flying car prototype aimed to revolutionize transportation, but never reached mass production. The Statue of Liberty, photographed in Paris. Before being inaugurated in New York, a smaller version of the statue was displayed in Paris as part of the celebration of French-American friendship. Behind the scenes of Star Wars Episode IV, a curious moment was captured with actor Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2. Inside the robot, Baker, who was 4 feet 3 inches tall. Farmer Joseph Swan published a photo of a giant potato in 1889, which generated great interest and sales. However, it was later discovered that the giant potato was actually sculpted, not a real vegetable. Hansen's disease, or leprosy, is caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium leprae and affects the skin, nerves, and eyes. It was highly stigmatized until the 20th century, often resulting in forced isolation of patients. The Russian sleep experiment, around 1940, is an urban horror story, claiming Soviet scientists conducted a cruel experiment on prisoners, depriving them of sleep for days to observe the effects. It is widely regarded as an urban legend, with no historical evidence. This image represents what prisoners use to see without sleep. A young woman showing the effects of radiation after the Chernobyl disaster in 1986.